Welcome to the Sportscast, March 12th, 2019. If you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and iTunes. And if you're in iTunes, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. And for the latest news on sports, go to thesportscast.net. Again, thesportscast.net for all the information. Follow us on Twitter. Free agency is underway. The Baltimore Ravens' defensive exodus continue with linebacker Za'Darius Smith agreeing to a deal with the Green Bay Packers. That's our latest on the free agency. And to join us to talk to us about free agency, Mr. Ty Turner, welcome back to the Sportscast.
What's up, dude?
Ty Turner, this week is pretty free agency, a lot of big names. We'll start with the Green Bay Packers. They just signed Za'Darius Smith from the Baltimore Ravens, and they got Adrian Amos from the Bears. What are the Packers trying to do here?
And they actually, Preston Smith from the Redskins, they just signed to another edge guy. They've signed two edge guys and a safety. Well, they needed another safety. They're a little weak at that position. They have Tramon Williams, they have Josh Jones, but they definitely needed to get another safety. I was thinking they were maybe going to go that way in the draft, possibly at the end of the first round. I would kind of have Taylor Rapp from Washington as a possibility, but I think maybe by addressing in free agency, maybe they're not planning on drafting a guy from the safety position in the first couple rounds. So that's where you go there. Now the edge guys, they need edge guys. They don't really play Matthews. He battles injuries. I just don't think he's as productive as he used to be. They have Kyle Fackrell too, who's pretty good. But they need edge guys. So that was something that I was pretty adamant they were going to address in the first round. I still think they will. It is interesting that they signed two. They signed Za'Darius Smith from the Ravens and Za'Darius. Say his name wrong, right?
Yeah, you're right. It is Za'Darius Smith.
Za'Darius Smith, and it's and Preston Smith, correct? So they signed two Smiths, both edge guys, one from the Redskins, the other from the Ravens. Za'Darius Smith had his best season last year at the Ravens, actually. I think he had 8.5 sacks. So, I think they're addressing that position. That's where I believe they were going with the 12th pick. I do wonder a little now. Maybe they're planning on, because they brought in two pretty good edge guys that started and have been productive. Possibly moving on from Matthews. And maybe that's not going to be their 12th pick. I don't know. Maybe they just are going to draft whoever the highest player on their board is overall. Maybe it's an offensive lineman. Maybe it's a wide receiver. That'd be maybe a tight end. Those are the other three positions that I could see them drafting in the first round. So, it's kind of interesting. I'm kind of excited to see what the Packers do, because we have the number. We're going off memory, but I believe we have the number 12 pick, the number 30 pick, the number 44 pick, and I think it's 74. So we have 4 picks in the top 80. So we have a very good draft, and we want to definitely take advantage of that. So I'm curious to which way they go with the pick.
There's also rumors, according to the Packers Wire, that they're interested in Cordell Patterson from the Patriots. Will you take him?
Really?
Yeah, that's rumors.
He did good things with the Patriots. He's a great returner. I don't love him as a wide receiver. Running back, we know Smallwood. I'd rather than bring in another kind of true running back. I heard they were maybe possibly interested in Mark Ingram. That could make sense as a backup option. I don't like that. No, not really. I want a wide receiver. If we're going to go wide receiver, I want to get some wide receivers. And I just don't know who they're going after in free agency. So it makes me think maybe two of their top. So they get, like I said, they have 4 picks in the top 80. First, second, 2 in the first round, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. I got a feeling maybe they're going to draft 2 wide receivers within that range, because it's a good wide receiver draft.
It is.
Maybe a Marquise Brown at the end of the first round, or be dead with the second round pick. Maybe Paris Campbell. Maybe Terry McLaurin out of Ohio State. I could maybe Hakeem Butler. I'm really leaning towards maybe drafting 2 wide receivers in that late first round, second round, maybe even that third round pick. That's what I think, but we'll see. I think they have to take. I think they have to take with the number 12 pick an edge rusher. It's such a good draft for edge rushers. You know, you have Montez Sweat, you have Josh Allen, you have Brian Burns, you have Salim Farrell. I think you have to take one of those guys at number 12, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see what they go.
We'll see what happens. I'll read you the free agency news, and if you want to stop me to comment, then you can do that. Okay.
Got it.
Houston Texans signed Tashawn Gibson. Patriots, no, I'm going to skip that one. Suggs gets a 1-year deal from the Cardinals. The Vikings, ex-Vikings defensive tackle, Richardson, is going to the Browns. Ex-Raven Mosley is going to the Jets for $85 million. That's going to strengthen their defense. James, right tackle, Juwan James is going to Denver for $52 million. Quarterback McCown is to take time before deciding on 2019. Los Angeles Rams franchise safety LaMarcus Joyner will be joining the Raiders.
Luke McCown or Josh?
Is LaMarcus Joyner.
No, McCown. I'm commenting on McCown.
Oh, yeah. McCown will take more time before deciding if he wants to play in 2019. He said in a statement released by his agent on Monday night, McCown, 39, has been contemplating retirement and will become a free agent this week.
Oh, just for your information, Josh McCown and Luke McCown were my uncle was their high school coach.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And man, I forgot the oldest one. Luke was the second one. He went to Sam Houston State. No, sorry. Josh was the second one. He went to Sam Houston State. Luke played for Louisiana Tech.
Randy McCowan.
Randy was he went to Texas A&M.
Wow.
And actually, he was the best high school player, but he ended up, he got kind of political at Texas A&M. I think he ended up kind of having to share with another guy, and he actually never played in the NFL. And Josh and Luke were not near the high school quarterback that Randy was, but they ended up going to small Division I, and they ended up becoming All-Americans there, and they ended up both playing in the NFL. And Josh McCown's obviously been a very productive NFL quarterback.
Should Josh retire,
for the Bears,
or should he wait on for an offer?
Well, he retired before, Before he retired once before and was coaching in North Carolina. So he came back once from retirement. And is Luke retired? I don't even know. Is Luke McCown retired?
Let me double check on you. Luke McCown, he is a former. Yes, he's retired. He played for the Louisiana Tech University Bulldogs and drafted by the Browns.
No, I didn't play for Louisiana Tech. I already said that. Where is he playing right now?
He's retired.
Not playing anywhere?
He's retired.
Oh, he retired. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's funny. I knew those guys in high school because my uncle was their coach. So he used to send me, my uncle used to coach me. Like, he didn't coach me. He actually did offer for me to come down there and play for him, but I didn't end up doing it. But he used to send me, demo videos of Luke and Josh and I. So I knew those guys back when they were, 15. And then they ended up going to the NFL. It's pretty crazy. My uncle also coached Chris Boyd. He's a Texas guy. He's going to probably be a middle round draft pick. My uncle coached him in high school. My uncle coached a lot of really good guys. He's won 3-4 state titles in Texas, which obviously is one of the top high school prep states in the nation. Anyway,
after
go back
Florida.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Well,
I think Florida might have a couple more Division I. I think it's pretty close. It's Florida, California, and Texas are all pretty close.
You know why? Because of warmer weather, warmer climate. You're able to train.
Yeah, and they love football.
Yeah,
and they love football, and they get a lot of talented players, and and they put a lot of time and they put a lot of effort into it. I mean, I think if you're going to say what state is just like the high school mecca of football, I think you'd say Texas.
Yeah, I've heard.
But
Texas
I do agree.
Yeah.
Florida and California get a lot of talent, but I think when it just comes to camaraderie of the whole city coming together to watch the high school games, it's tough to beat Texas.
Let's continue on. The Jets
Friday Night Lights.
Sign linebacker Anthony Barr. Defensive back Jackson is heading to the Broncos. Kareem Jackson, which is big news. The ex-Chiefs Mitch Morse, is headed to the Bills. Ex-Panthers wide receiver Funchess is joining the Colts. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Matthew to join Chiefs for 3 years. Okay, let's get to the real people, the top players. We could.
No, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Deshaun Jackson is heading back to the Eagles, back home.
He's been done a whole lot for a few years.
Nick Foles joining the Jags for $88 million for 4 years. What do you think about that deal?
I think more than anything, it really shows that the Jags are going to draft a quarterback in 2020. I mean, I think he'll be there. He'll be their starting quarterback for like a year or two, but I think that's definitely the writing on the wall is that they didn't like someone good enough this year, so they went and got Nick Foles, and they plan on drafting someone next year. That's just what I got from that. That was my personal opinion on it.
Yeah, it should be a good pick, and I think Blake Bortles will be cut because of that move, so we'll see where.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I don't know where he's going to go, but he'll probably be a backup somewhere. But yeah, that's something that I'm really interested in seeing how I think Jaguars are now in the conversation of playoffs with Foles joining the Jaguars. So we'll see.
Do you think so?
I think they're in the conversation. Maybe wild card conversation more than anything. Obviously,
I think more than I don't really with Nick Foles. Nick Foles played great in the playoffs and obviously won a Super Bowl. I don't know. I don't see him quite on that level as you're seeing it. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. And let's see, the other one we saw, James Crowder will be joining the Jets. Wow, the Jets are getting stronger. Definitely quite interesting.
Well, they need to. They suck.
Landon Collins joins the Redskins. What do you think about that move?
I think Landon Collins, he's obviously been a very good safety. He's been, 3-4 time Pro Bowler. But I've seen his liability, kind of a liability when it comes to pass coverage, and you've seen that a little more in the last couple of years. I don't know. I think the safety position is kind of moving away from that kind of traditional box safety. The guys that are really good in coverage, guys that are really athletic and can really almost a cornerback in the safety position. So that being said, he's a good player, but I think the safety position is kind of transitioning or recreating or progressing, whatever word you want to use, into more of that guy that can really play the coverage.
And there you have it. There's our free agency. We're still following the news. We still don't know where Ryan Tannehill's going to be back in Miami or be getting traded somewhere. So we'll definitely keep you guys up to date. Go on our Twitter, and we'll definitely be posting on the website as well. Let's switch to college basketball. Ready?
Yep.
Here's the top 25. First is Gonzaga, Virginia, UNC, Kentucky, Duke, Michigan State, Texas Tech, Tennessee, LSU, Michigan. And let's go Houston for number 11th. How do you see the top 10?
Say that again.
Gonzaga, Virginia, UNC, Kentucky, Duke, Michigan State, Texas Tech, Tennessee, LSU, and Michigan.
I was reading something as I was doing that. I think definitely right now you're looking at the number one seeds being. I think Virginia gets the number one seed even if they lose in the ACC. I think they're pretty locked up. Gonzaga's number one seed. They won the West Coast Conference for the 100th time. I then think if North Carolina wins the ACC, they're certainly a number one seed. I think they're number one seed right now. Kentucky, if they win the SEC, is the number one seed. If Tennessee can beat Kentucky, I think Tennessee might get the number one seed. I could see them being a fourth. Michigan State is in the running for number one seed, especially if they win the Big Ten. I think Michigan might be out. I don't think they're going to get a number one seed. They're probably looking at a second or third seed. Yeah, I mean, as of today, I'd say the number one seeds are Virginia, Gonzaga, North Carolina, and Kentucky. But I think it could change if you saw like a Duke beat North Carolina and win that ACC, or Tennessee beat Kentucky. Other than that, I think it's going to probably be those teams.
Let's switch to college football, spring football. Oregon Ducks set date for 2019 spring football game. It'll be held at 2 p.m. April 20th at the Autzen Stadium. Over 27,000 people attended last year's spring game at Oregon. Are you ready for spring football?
Oh, started. They've already done 2 practices. It's been exciting to see, some of the new guys come in, like Kayvon Thibodeau, 5-star. He's already enrolled. Josh Delgado, Drew Mathis. They have a bunch of guys are early enrollees, and they actually have 4 more guys enrolling after the first 5 practices. They go on spring break, so for their next, they do some kind of weird, I think it's like tri-term or something, like 3 different terms in one semester. So they have 4 other guys that are coming in after spring break. So they'll overall have 10 early enrollees. We didn't really talk about the defensive coordinator hire.
How was that?
Andy Avalos. They love it. I mean, everyone's loving it. Andy Avalos for 4 years was the defensive coordinator at Boise State. He was a Boise State alum. He was an all-conference player for Boise State.
LB, linebacker.
Ended up being and he ended up being a GA under Chris Peterson. He then became defensive coordinator. He's very proficient in defenses. Oregon played against Boise State in the Las Vegas Bowl in 2017, and his defense wreaked havoc. We really struggled. That was after Willie Taggart left and all that. So I really like Avalos. He's well respected. He's known to be a very good recruiter. He's known to be a very likable guy. His players really like playing for him, and he's very creative in his schemes and getting pressure on the quarterback. So, yeah, I really like the hire, and I think we're in a good spot. I think we're going to do some good things.
Avalos also coached 7 years for the Broncos. He said, he was quoted, "You've got to get to know how they learn. You got to get to know how guys prepare so you can make them comfortable on the field," Avalos said. "Then you got to figure out what guys do well on the field, and let's put them in those positions. With the coaches that have been here already, we've obviously relied on them having the knowledge of what guys do best and putting them in positions that they're going to be able to succeed in. How is this? What do you think about his approach?"
Well, like I said, I really like it. He's a very likable guy. He's been very creative with his defensive schemes. He loves edge guys and pressure. He definitely likes to bring pressure in a variety of ways. He's pretty unpredictable with it. And so a guy like a Kayvon Thibodeau is going to really be successful under his defenses. And I think the strength of Oregon's defense from a talent perspective is, I think, really those edge guys. Kayvon Thibodeau, DJ Johnson, a former 4-star top 100 guy, Adrian Jackson, a former Under Armour All-American, Lamar Winston, a 2-year starter. I think they really have some talented edge guys, so I think his defensive approach and scheme of getting pressure on the quarterback will really be successful with the talent he has currently on the Oregon Ducks roster.
Offensive coordinator Arroyo says a large portion of the offseason has been dedicated to self-scouting and determining which packages and plays were most effective in certain situations. He says, "As coaches, sometimes I think we get hung up on things we really like, no different than any other human." Arroyo said, "You like this certain thing, but what do you like it? If it wasn't very good, scrap it and let's go back and get another rep at this." What do you expect out of this Oregon offense for 2019?
Well, Oregon, I mean, there's certain schools are known for certain things, you know what I'm saying? And what has Oregon always been known for? It's offense.
Yeah.
They're known for the high-flying, fast-paced, up-tempo offense. So when Oregon's offense is not up to that standard, people kind of start to question it. There's like the defense doesn't have as high a standard. Oregon was never really known for great defenses. They just weren't. But actually, the talent on the roster, some would argue that they've had more talent in the last couple of years on defense. And even coming into this year, a lot of their top players, I think it's 6 of their top 100 players on the defensive side of the ball. So I think it was a little bit of a talent deprivation on the offensive side that caused the drop. But I like Arroyo. He has his critics out there amongst the media, amongst the fan bases in Oregon. So we're going to see what he can do. Will it improve? Will having better wide receiver talent, having that experience still wide, having one of the best quarterbacks in college football, will you see an improvement on the offensive side of the ball? They should. I think the big upgrade had to be at the wide receiver position, and I think they're better there. I think between the recruiting, the transfer of a guy like Juwan Johnson from Penn State, the maturity of even the wide receivers that they have on the roster, I think they'll be better at the wide receiver position, and I think that will make the offense overall more successful. What really hurt them, I think, last year was just not great wide receiver play. You had Dylan Mitchell, and everyone else was just below average, to be honest with you. Whether it was catching the ball, whether it was getting open, it was not great play by the wide receiver department. So I think it'll be better this year, and I think that will be a key to the improvement in the offense.
NFL draft is coming up April 25th. We still have over a month. And a lot of mock drafts are coming out. People are, they'll probably be tweaking, from here on till April. Who do you think will be, let's say, top 12? Who do you think will definitely...
Well, go through. Pull up the draft. It'll be lazy, bro. I'm trying to pull up, the team, and I'll give you who I think as of right now.
Yeah, let me, I'll pull up the teams. I know number one is the Cardinals. Who do you think the Cardinals get?
Kyler Murray.
The Niners.
I'd be very surprised. I'd be very surprised if it's... I'll talk a little bit on each one. I'll be very surprised if Kyler Murray is not the first pick.
I'm surprised. I'm still surprised. I
predicted it. I'll be surprised if he's not.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I think Kyler Murray's for sure going to be the top pick. Yeah, I definitely think. I'd be surprised if it's not Kyler Murray.
49ers.
Nick Bosa. I think Bosa was a long-time favorite to be the number one pick. Most people thought he was going to be the guy that Arizona Cardinals drafted. And then Kyler Murray came and stole his show. But, yeah, I think Nick Bosa is the number two. He's a complete guy. He's a good player. So, number two will go Bosa.
Which he was at number one for a while,
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I said for the longest time, he was the number one guy. He was the consensus number one pick.
New York Jets, number 3.
I believe it'll be Josh Allen. I just think his productivity, he had a solid combine. He wasn't the best testing of all the edge guys, but I'm just seeing a lot of Josh Allen, so I believe he gets drafted 3rd.
Raiders.
I think Quentin Williams.
I love Quentin Williams.
His combine, his production, I think he'll be the 4th guy.
Number 5th spot, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This one, I'm not totally sure. It's kind of, they have a lot of needs. You know what? I'll go Juwan Johnson, the offensive tackle for Florida. I think he was the guy who showed the best.
You mean
one of the best at the?
Do you mean Juwan Taylor?
Juwan Taylor, my bad.
It's okay.
Juwan Johnson's the wide receiver signed for.
You want him
for Oregon? Yep. I think Juwan Taylor will be the number one. I think he'll be the number one offensive lineman off the board. Maybe Jonah Williams here, but I don't know. He didn't really impress as much at the combine as I like. But yeah, I'll say Juwan Taylor.
Number 6, the New York Giants.
I think they draft Haskins.
Wow.
I don't love Haskins. I really don't. I think he was smart to go to the draft this year. Because I think next year he would fall out of the first round.
Yeah, he was swallowed in the second round. Yeah.
Because I've been seeing a lot of people grading. I don't think he would grade as high as Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think he'd grade as high as Justin Herbert. I don't think he'd grade as high as Jake Fromm. I think he could fall behind even a guy like KJ Costello or possibly a Jacob Eason. So he made a good decision. I don't love his athleticism as a whole, and he's good arm strength, but there's guys with better arms, and he's accurate and he's good. But I think he was smart to leave this year because I think he would have fallen significantly by going next year.
The Jacksonville Jaguars at the 7th spot.
Who knows? Honestly, obviously they took Foles. You know what? I've seen in a couple mocks. This is complete conjecture. I've seen a couple mocks. T.J. Hawkinson, the tight end for Iowa. So I'm going to go with him, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's who they go with. But that's what I'm going to say. T.J. Hawkinson. He's a good tight end. He's a very good all-around tight end.
8th, the Detroit Lions, or they call it the Detroit Patriots sometimes.
I think they could use, once again, they're another team that could use a lot of pieces. I'm going to go with the best player on the board, and I'm going to go Devin White from LSU.
Wow. I wonder where you got Montez Sweat going to be at. Anyways, Buffalo Bills at the 9th pick, for the 9th pick.
I've been hearing that they want to go wide receiver. They don't have a lot of playmakers out there. And I think the number one wide receiver on the board is DK Metcalf, so I think that's where they go.
1% body fat.
Yeah. Supposedly, yeah.
The 10th, Denver Broncos.
I think they go Sweat. I know some people are saying,
not Drew Lock?
I wonder they passed on Josh Rosen last year. I was wondering in a trade with the Cardinals. You know what? Yeah, maybe Drew Lock, because they do kind of like Drew Lock, I have heard. And Drew Lock, like I said, it was a little more impressive than maybe I thought he was going to be as an athlete. And definitely has a great arm talent. And he had a good end of the season. He was pretty good his junior year. Yeah, I'll go Drew Lock. It's had.
Number 11th. The Cincinnati Bengals.
No, I'll say they take Sweat.
Okay.
I think he was the best testing guy at the edge rushing position. They need pieces all over, but I say they take Sweat at 11.
And finally, the Green Bay Packers.
I think they take Brian Burns.
Wow.
From Florida State. If Sweat is there. If for some reason Cincinnati, goes Jonah Williams, they say draft Jonah Williams, I think the Packers probably take Sweat over Burns. But if they take Sweat, then I think they take Burns.
Well, there you have it. That's Tyler's preliminary top 12 picks. He may tweak it by April 25th, right?
I might. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Last night, star MMA fighter McGregor was arrested in Miami Beach, accused of smashing a person's phone. Mixed martial arts star fighter Conor McGregor was arrested Monday evening after police said he smashed a fan's phone outside the Fontainebleau Miami Beach hotel. McGregor, 30, was charged with felony strong-arm robbery and criminal mischief, according to Miami Beach police. Do you think his fandom is going to die after this?
I just think the guy, he's out of control. I don't know. He's just, he had the incident in New York. He also, things got out of hand in his last fight. It's just, he's gone too far. There's one thing about, making a show and making everyone see it. The whole hoopla with, the Floyd Mayweather fight and everyone watching it. And that's one thing. Another thing is kind of just acting like an out-of-control person on a regular basis. And I think that's kind of what he's been doing recently. And this is another arrest. And then he's now it's fans. So now before it was, I think, an opponent that he went after. Now it's actually fans. Wow. Feel that you make money because of fans, you idiot. So no. When athletes start doing this. When athletes start acting like dinks to fans, I'm like, the only reason why you are in the position you're in is because people watch your crap. Once you forget that, forget you. You forgot you're an entertainer. So once they start attacking fans, it's just not smart.
Yeah.
There's just common, pragmatic things that you just would think, but obviously not thinking and being realities. To think that people would realize, like, you do not alienate who actually makes you money, and that whether it be actors, whether it be athletes, they don't seem to get it anymore. You know, you have all these professional basketball players coming out on these social justice stances that are alienating against people. You have ding-dong Captain Marvel lady, Brie Larson, talking about how you shouldn't have old white men be the ones being the critics. Shouldn't be all old white men. I mean, you're alienating your audience. It's stupid.
You gotta be like Michael Jordan. Like, look, conservatives buy my shoes. I mean, I don't want to mock anyone.
Well, or like Tiger Woods. I mean, Tiger Woods, you know, he did the indiscretions off the field that I think hurt him. But what I've always liked about Tiger Woods is the fact that he has refused to get political. They've tried a couple of times, but he refuses to get political because he realizes at the end of the day it's going to be, you're more than likely, someone's not going to like it.
Yeah.
I think LeBron James has hurt his image by doing it. I think LeBron James has hurt his image. I know. I mean, I could say I know people that don't like LeBron anymore because he's come across as this social justice, definitely a proponent to one side of the political spectrum, and some people don't like him because of it. And I think every athlete that does it, they're taking that risk. And at the end of the day, like, well, we're standing up for something. But that's not necessarily your position. Are you knowledgeable enough to stand for something? Do you know enough about a particular, like, for instance, ideology or a particular platform to take a stand and have substance to your beliefs? And I would say a lot of athletes don't. A lot of entertainers don't. They're not qualified. And then because, and I'm not just saying because you're an athlete. Maybe you went to college long enough, or an actor. Maybe you didn't go to college. I'm not saying that's the reason. But when you hear them say, well, the reason I think this is because of this, you can tell they're riding off on a biased opinion for a propaganda to one side of the equation, and they really do not know what they're talking about. Like, if you were to grill them to the substance of their argument, the premise of their argument, and for them to really drive in the evidence to defend that premise, most of them couldn't do it. And that is wherein I have the problem. Because I think like a guy like a Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan has realized, I'm going to alienate people. I also don't maybe know enough about it. So therefore, maybe it's wise for me to say nothing at all.
Yeah.
Whereas you have guys like LeBron James, and I've heard him talk, he's not very knowledgeable. He doesn't really know what he's talking about. And it comes across as really a very biased, opinion-pushing premise, and that even is makes it more distasteful when they give it. Because it's like, be quiet. And actors do it incessantly. Incessantly, they just push this it's almost always left wing. It's 99% of the time left wing, and they don't know what they're talking about. And it's like, oh my God, it's not talking. It's like, oh my goodness, what are you talking about? Like, they're just like prattling away about the injustices done to women. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, the Oscars, I saw it this year. They're just like these irrational, like, women are more than just periods. No, I'm dead serious. I saw that during one speech. Women are more than, like, what are you talking about? Like, what is the motivation? What is the premise of your argument? Like, what is the purpose of doing this at an Oscar Awards? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
And I think a good dialogue is definitely the key to finding knowledge. The good dialogue is the key to the pursuit of good dialogue is the key to finding answers to tough questions. And I think it should be done by the right people in the right situation. But like actors and athletes just propagating it on social media or awkwardly at awards shows, and it's distasteful, and it comes across as I don't know. I don't like it. And I know a lot of people that don't.
McGregor was arrested on charges of felony strong arm robbery and criminal mischief. He had an incident last year after UFC 223 in New York City where he was charged with assault, attempted assault, and criminal mischief after he and others allegedly attacked a bus carrying UFC fighters at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. So we'll see what happens with McGregor. If he, we'll see what the UFC does. They suspended him 5 months after that New York incident. We'll see if they do the same or more. So we'll see what happens. Breaking news: Packers are going offense in the next in free agency. They have agreed to Denver's offensive line Billy Turner, according to an NFL source.
Okay, say again. Sorry.
Packers have signed Billy Turner. He's from the Denver Broncos. Was from the Denver Broncos. He's an offensive line. So.
Oh, so they just signed another guy?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They're going offense this free agency.
No, did you say no? You said defensive line, right?
No, offensive line. Oh well.
Well, that's the first offensive guy that signed. All the others have been defense.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Anyways,
edge guys and a safety.
Yeah. So the Packers are definitely packing it in.
Yeah, they needed another offensive guy. They definitely needed another offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. So I wonder. It just makes me. I'm curious because 2 edge guys, an offensive lineman, and a safety. It makes me think that they're going to go hard with the maybe tight end and wide receiver position in the draft because they haven't signed any wide receivers or tight ends, and they need them. They need wide receivers. They're not. That's I would say a big weakness on their team right now. And Aaron Rodgers, you have the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He needs weapons. It's been problematic. He hasn't had guys really that, other than Devontae Adams last year, who really was consistent in getting open and making plays. So I'm thinking, I'm just like looking at this picture, and they haven't signed any weapons. So I'm thinking maybe end of the first round. I don't know if there's a guy good enough at number 12 to justify, other than DK Metcalf, and I think Metcalf's going to be off the board. It sounds like the Bills are going to draft him. Pretty much every mock draft and everything I read, it sounds like they're going to go wide receiver. DK Metcalf, the highest wide receiver on the board. And I don't know if there's another wide receiver that is really worth the 12th pick. But there's tons of wide receivers that are worth the 30th and 44th pick. So I'm wondering if the Packers go back-to-back at wide receiver, maybe Hakeem Butler and Marquise Brown, or Paris Campbell and Terry McLaurin, or A.J. Brown, one of those in those 30 to 44th picks. So it's interesting. I'm just seeing who they're signing free agency and kind of concluding from that.
Tim Tebow resigns. No, the Mets have re-signed Tim Tebow to a minor league camp. Tim Tebow was among Met players optioned to minor league camp by the New York Mets on Tuesday. Tebow will likely begin the season at AAA Syracuse. He went 4 for 15 and had an RBI for the Mets in Grapefruit League action.
Cool.
There you have it. Anything else before we get into game predictions?
Nope.
They start today at noon. Wake Forest at Miami.
Let's do. I don't know. Who's better?
I hope Miami.
Okay, go Miami then.
Notre Dame at Georgia Tech.
Notre Dame.
Okay. And last one, St. Mary Gales at Gonzaga Bulldogs.
No, that's not a game prediction. Gonzaga won over Pepperdine to win the conference title last night.
Well, that's tonight. Anyways, another news.
Oh, no, they're playing St. Mary's tonight?
Yeah, 9 p.m.
Oh, I thought they won it last night over Pepperdine. I thought that was the title.
No.
Well, why didn't you try to avoid it, dude? You should have corrected me.
I have no idea what's going on in college basketball.
That was so bad. What a passive-aggressive individual you can be. I was wrong. I thought they won it with Pepperdine. I know they destroyed Pepperdine last night. I thought they won the West Coast Conference. You're just like, you're just like whispering under your breath. You can tell me that I'm wrong and they're playing St. Mary's.
Another news.
I was wrong. No, we're not done. I have to answer the question now. I think Gonzaga is going to beat St. Mary's. I thought they won. So who did St. Mary's beat last night?
Let's see who they beat last night. St. Mary Gales. Let's see. Let's move it up.
Was it San Diego? Was it BYU?
I'm looking at their stats. Schedule.
Yeah, I think it was San Diego or BYU.
What's today? March 12th. March 11th, they beat San Diego 69-62.
Okay. All right. Well, so man, St. Mary's and Gonzaga, I don't know how many times they have met for the conference title. It's been, oh my goodness. It's been a lot. I'd have to go back and look, but over the past decade, they've probably met for the title like 8 or 9 times. With the Gonzaga winning most. I think St. Mary's won 1. And I think St. Mary's won the regular season title once before, too. So, but yeah, interesting. They play again. Anyway, yeah, I think Gonzaga's definitely better this year.
And random question of the day, do you like your passport picture?
It's fine.
Okay. Ty Turner, how can people reach you online to talk to you about the Green Bay Packers?
At TurnerCast.
At TurnerCast. That's his sports-only Twitter. He breaks the stories. He writes most of the articles on the sportscast.net. And follow us on the Sportscast on our Twitter, the Sportscast1, and on our Instagram, the Sportscast1, and also on Facebook. Like us on Facebook, the Sportscast. Everything's there. Ty Turner, it was great having you today on this NFL free agency week.
All right, sounds good.
Have a good day.